Champions Network, hear our song. Stronger together where we belong. Champions Network. Champions Network. Champions Network. Champions Network. Stories of hope, dreams set free. Lighting the world on CNTV. Champions Network.
Welcome to Champions Network TV. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and wherever you might be joining us from. And to this discussion here at Champion Network TV, where we interrogate issues affecting Zimbabwe, both home and in the diaspora. Tonight we are focusing on the most important debated political and constitutional development in Zimbabwe today, Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. Parliament is reported to have just left with a week left to debate this bill before it potentially proceeds for presidential assent by President Emmerson Mnangagwa. So the question that we are faced with is, what does this bill really mean to an ordinary Zimbabwean, both in Zimbabwe and abroad? What happens if the bill passes, and what happens if the bill doesn't sail through? Could there still be room for a referendum? Is another question. And what role should the civic society play in this critical moment, that includes the churches, opposition political parties? And to help us unpack these issues, we will be joined tonight by Mr. Zensongomo, who is a facilitator for the Southern region for the National Democratic Working Group, a movement that is led by Honorable Job Scala, and I think he's having challenges trying to connect because of some technicalities. So he will be joining us very soon. But whilst we wait for him, if we have got any comments on this topic, put them in the chat box. At some point, we will give you an opportunity if you want to join the discussion. We will put the link in the chat box so that you can join us, or you can send your contribution via text so that we can discuss it. So whilst we are waiting for him to join, are there anyone who have got any thoughts about this topic? What does the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 mean to an ordinary Zimbabwe? Or in a nutshell, what is the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3? I know some of you might have debated this. We have spoken about this on these channels with Dr. Zembe, and I think at some point with Comrade Whitehead. But fundamentally, it's a fundamental shift in the constitutional making process in Zimbabwe. The bill number 3, it has got about 21 amendments that it wants to bring, and I think the most contested or the one that is people are talking about quite a lot is the provision that will allow the extension of the presidential term from 5 years to 7 years, and within that, and also there is also a provision to remove the requirement for a popular vote for the president in favor of parliamentary vote. There are quite a number of discussions around this. Those pro are saying, well, that's what they've been doing since 1980, when we got the Lancaster House Constitution, where we had the prime minister and the ceremonial president. So we used not to vote for the president. But however, history tells us that at that point, the president was not, although was not directly, he didn't have executive powers. He was just a ceremonial president. It was only when we had the Unit Accord in 1987 where we amended the constitution so that we have an executive president, and from there we have had only the president being voted in by the generality of the Zimbabweans, which means it was a one man, one vote. And so those who say we have been doing this since, I think it may be, I don't know, it may be misplaced understanding, but that's, and also I think those who are against including the war veterans, they are telling us one of the reasons why people went to war was to fight for a one man, one vote, because at that point it was just a small section of the population, particularly the whites who were voting, and then and the majority were not allowed to vote. So I think Mr. Zenzo Nkomo might still be having challenges. I'll put our link to the studio in the chat box. You can join me in this. You can join me in this studio, and we can go through some of the discussion together, so that both this platform is about people's views. And I think those who are, you can either, if you are joining us on Champions Network TV, on Mbire TV, or NDWG Global TV, the link to the studio, I have put it in the chat box so that you can join me, and we can proceed with our discussion, so that I may not only be giving my views. I think Mr. Nkomo has just managed to join us. So let me bring him into the studio. Can you hear me, Mr. Nkomo? Can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Nkomo, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Maybe he might be settling down. Whilst he does that, let me just play a video from our for the National Democratic Working Group.
Zimbabwe stands at a defining moment, a moment that will shape the future of our constitution, our democracy, and generations yet unborn. The National Democratic Working Group, led by Hon Job Sikala, calls upon every Zimbabwean, young and old, at home and in the diaspora, to remain informed, engaged, and vigilant. Constitutions are not documents for politicians alone. They are the people's covenant, the people's protection, the people's voice. As constitutional amendment, Bill number 3 approaches Parliament, we urge citizens to participate peacefully, democratically, and courageously in shaping Zimbabwe's future. Let your voice be heard. Let Zimbabwe belong to its people. This message is brought to you by the National Democratic Working Group. Zimbabwe is our home. Its future is our responsibility.
Right. I think Mr. Nkomo must be finding some challenges with his joining. But I think the first part of our discussion was around what actually does the Amendment Bill number 3 mean to an ordinary Zimbabwean. So this, according to my understanding, it is an attempt to alter important constitutional provision that affects governance, accountability, democratic participation, and the balance of power in Zimbabwe. Many Zimbabweans are concerned because constitutions are supposed to protect citizens from excessive concentration of power. Once constitutional changes begin to favor political interest or over national interest, citizens become worried about the future of justice in Zimbabwe. These are some of the things that we need to be talking, and this content comes from history. Of course, the history Zimbabweans know that constitutional changes can have long-term consequences beyond current political leaders. So people will be asking, is this amendment strengthening democracy or is it increasing accountability? I think, from my point of view, it's concentrating power in the executive. And I think once we concentrate power, and also the other provision which is quite key is the role of the military, because I think the constitutional amendment is removing them to uphold the constitution, to act in accordance with the constitution. Instead of defending the constitution, they have to act in accordance with the constitution, which takes that responsibility away from them of being the defenders of the constitution. And I think that is quite key. Let me bring in Mr. Nkomo. Mr. Nkomo, can you hear me? Mr. Nkomo, can you hear me? Mr. Nkomo. Hello. I'm not sure whether his network is poor or not. I'm not sure. So the question that we are asking is what is the role of the civic society, churches, lawyers, students, ordinary citizens like yourself. That's why I also encourage you to join me in this broadcast so that you can give us your views. Um, I think one of the important things that we need to understand about the constitution is our constitution affects everyday life more than people realize. Um, the constitution determines how leaders are chosen. That as like I was saying before, that currently our constitution allows every Zimbabwean to decide who becomes the head of state, who becomes the president. And it also ensures the balance of power between the executive, the judiciary, the parliamentary, all those three arms of government. It is the constitution that makes sure there's that balance of power, and it also determines how our court system works. And I think one of the key changes to this with this constitutional amendment is that the judges are going to be uh, appointed by the president, which means they then have got their loyalty to the president, so they may not make judgment that doesn't align with the executive. So it takes away their independence if they are going to be appointed by the president. And and so even the market, the vendor, the teacher, the nurse, and the unemployed youth is affected because constitutional governance affects the economy, it affects the service delivery, freedom, and stability. That's why we need the leaders that are accountable to the people. We don't want to have leaders that are accountable only to Temba Maposa. Join me now. This is the measure. I've taken. I'm in the shoes of Mbire. So if you join me here, we can discuss this important topic because the key question that we need to be asking ourselves as Zimbabweans is we are only got almost a week until the members of parliament vote on this important milestone project of ZANU-PF. So the question is there anything that we can still do? We know that we were supposed to engage in the consultation, which were heavily suppressed. No dissenting voices were being allowed. According to the media, what we saw was people being denied the right to say what they thought. We found we and also how do we then have confidence and in the process of which then decide the final outcome of this constitution making process. Mr. Nkomo, can you hear me now? Mr. Nkomo, can you hear me? I think your mic. I think either your mic is not working or something. I can see your lips are moving, but I can't hear anything. Mr. Nkomo, can you hear me? Hello. Uh, Bless, bless praise. Can you hear me? Hello? Uh, can anyone hear me? Mr. Nkomo, can you hear me? Hello? Mr. Nkomo, can you hear me? Um, I think I can. And I can't hear you. Breast praise, can you hear me? Let's hear this music. Then hello, hello. Can you hear me now? Um, let's listen to this music. Whilst maybe he might be able to sort out his sound. I think his sound is the one that is a bit of a challenge. Um,
Africa rise, Africa shine. One people, one heart, one mind. Together we stand, never divided. Our land, our pride, forever united. Africa simuka fuma yedu, rudoru gare tibatane muiri mumwe. Ndebele, Africa paga masi ingaba, tina bantu sibanyenge nfisiyo. From Cape to Cairo, our drums still play. Voices of freedom light our way. Leaders we stand with, those storms may come. For Africa's children beat one drum. From Cape kushika ku Cairo, ngoma zetu zicharira. Iswire rusununguko rinotitungamirira. Tinotsigira vatungamiri vetu, kunyange zvipfeko zvikauya. Nokuti vana veAfrica vanoridza ngoma imwe chete. Asangane madhodha naomhlaba singabantu abakhothwa sisoze sahlukaniswa. Asangane madhodha naomhlaba singabantu abakhothwa sisoze sahlukaniswa. Our leaders carry the dreams of the past. We lift them up so their visions last. Who are we? What do we stand for? Peace, unity, and pride. Tiri vanhu veAfrica tirudo nerunyararo. Ehe, tinerudo nerunyararo. Devebele, sisimele. Yebo, sisimele. Africa simuka fuma yedu. Rudo rugare tibatane muiri mumwe. Devebele, Africa kwaga masihingaba. Tina bantu sibanyenge nfizio. Africa simuka fuma yedu. Rudo rugare tibatane muiri mumwe. Devebele, Africa kwaga masihingaba. Tina bantu sibanyenge nfizio. From Cape to Cairo, our drums still play. Voices of freedom light our way. Leaders we stand with, though storms may come. For Africa's children beat one drum. Kukepe kushika ku Cairo, mama zetu zicharira. Izwi leru sununguko rinotitungamirira. Tinotsigira vatungamiri vedu. Kunyange shifeko shikauya. Nokuti vana veAfrica vanoridza ngoma imwe chete. Aslanganeni madoda na uhlaba singabantu abakhothwa sisoze sahlukaniswa. Aslanganeni madoda na uhlaba singabantu abakhothwa sisoze sahlukaniswa. Leaders carry the dreams of the past, we lift them up so their visions last. We lift them up. Who are we? We are Africa. What do we stand for? Peace, unity, and pride. Tiri vanhu veAfrica tinerudo nerunyararo. Ehe, tinerudo nerunyararo. Manga sisimele, yebo sisimele. Africa simuka fuma yedu. Rudo rugare tibatane muiri mumwe. Africa simuka fuma yedu. Rudo rugare tibatane muiri mumwe.
So, Blessing, can you hear me? Can you come and join me so that maybe we can have a little discussion there? Or you are?
Are you aware of the meeting that is currently going on of the United Opposition Party?
No, I wasn't aware of that. Sorry, I think the challenge we are having is Mr. Nkomo. I think he found it a bit. He did not manage to join. I've got Bless Praise in the studio, and it seems not to be talking. So, those who are on the chat, if you can just put in your questions, I will respond, and if anyone who wants to join me in the studio, the link is in the chat box, so that you can join us in the studio. I've also put the link in the chat box, just for whether you are watching us from Mbire Champions Network TV or NDWG Global TV. So as I said in my opening remarks, the questions we wanted Mr. Nkomo to respond to us is, what does the Amendment Bill number 3 mean to us as ordinary citizens? And also, I think the Parliament uh, is set to vote on this important amendment bill in a week's time. And I think the question was, what does it mean if this bill sails through? What does it mean if this bill doesn't sail through? And what does it mean uh, if is there still room for a referendum? And what should the citizens be doing between now and the uh, vote of the parliamentarians? What will be our role as citizens? What will be our role as churches, political leaders, and also the churches, students, whoever, or even the vendor on the street, even the street kid? What will be your role between now and when the bill uh, gets signed? What will be your role? So those are some of the things he was going to articulate to us. Uh, However, he's finding a challenge in joining. So you can be a replacement for him. You can be answering these questions on behalf of the Zimbabwean. Or because my view is it is a time where people need to engage with what does it mean? Two, and what role should every Zimbabwean have towards this? At least you should take a position. What is your view with respect to this bill, as a person, or as a constituency, or as a grouping? What is your view? And what are the roles of the MPs? Are they there to represent their parties? Are they there to represent themselves? Or are they there to represent the constituents where the people who voted for them? And how are the people who voted for those MPs who are going to vote make sure that their vote is a voice for the constituents they are coming from? Are they going to vote depending whether they got a hamper, like we saw the daughter of Tungwara giving nurses hampers? Or are they going to vote depending whether you were given 50,000 or given a car, like we saw the MP from Udiriro? So those are the things. Those are the real questions we need to be asking in these platforms. And I think also there's this new development that are coming in, the elevation of retired General Veralio into the political bureau. What does it mean? What is the long game that is being played? how do we respond? So these are the things that uh, we need to be interrogating. So let me go through some of the things that if I were in Mr. Zenzo's shoes, I would be saying, I think when it comes to the referendum, I think many citizens believe a referendum would provide legitimacy because it is also enshrined in the constitution that when we want to change, especially the term limit for the president, I think it specifies that there might be a requirement for a referendum. And also, if the incumbent is going to benefit from that provision, there should be also a referendum. I think Vachinamasa mentioned it in Bulawayo when they had the resolution number one, which was the resolution number one was what the ZANU-PF resolution to say they want to extend the term limit for their president. But I think at that time, Mr. Namasa categorically said it will mean two referendums: one to authenticate the extension of the presidential term, and another referendum if the incumbent, which is Emerson Mnangagwa, wants to benefit from that extension. But are now along the way, and then when they went to Mtare and the amendment or the resolution number two, which was now to instruct the government to make that extension feasible, which we are now finding amendment bill number three, which is in process, now left to a days to be debated and voted on by our parliamentarians. Just hold on a minute. Let me just answer a call. So citizens believe the referendum should provide legitimacy, and a referendum allows Zimbabweans themselves uh, to to express their views when it comes to these amendments. Mr. Nkomo is still trying to connect, but I think he's finding it a bit of a challenge. Um, so the question So more public education is not, at this moment. I think more public education is needed to, especially to Zimbabwe. What do we need to do? A lot of civic groups, they are writing petitions. I think I don't know if the window for submitting your views and your objection or supporting of the bill is still open. So those are the public, and also so that people fully understand the implication for the bill. Uh, because sometimes we become emotional to say, "Oh, I don't want the bill," or I don't support the bill. But at the bottom of it, it's more about uh, making those decisions with understanding. It's more about making those decisions with understanding. So, what should the civic society do between now and? I think it's one of the key things is we need to find how do we express our our position to our members of parliament who are now the key players. Uh, if it is a football team, they are our center, our strikers. We have done all we could as the team to defend or to play, but the final decision is we give it to our strikers, which is our. So they should understand it from that perspective. They are the strikers in this. So if you are a striker and you are bought by the opponent team, so that before when you are faced with just the goalkeeper, you kick the ball the other way. I don't know what that means. So the civic society is supposed to educate citizens peacefully and engage members of parliament, as I was saying, and also organize discussions like we are doing now. Uh, just organize discussion where we talk about these things. Both I've got someone who has just joined me there. Kagona, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
I'm doing very well. How did you find the discussion earlier on around the appointment of our retired General Velario into the political? How was it over there?
No, I missed much of it. I just joined, I think, the last 10 minutes of it.
Or you just joined the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, I finished work very late today, so I was unable to join.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Today I was supposed to be joined by Mr. Nkomo, and I think I had scheduled a specific discussion around Amendment Bill number 3. I think the key things that he was going to talk about it was one, uh, what in a nutshell, what does the bill mean to an ordinary Zimbabwean? That means to a teacher in Cholocho, a vendor in Mbare, a student at the University of Zimbabwe, Mbuya in Kwatenda Mbuya. What does the bill, Amendment Bill number 3, what does that mean to them? And also the fact that the bill is now left with just a few days before the parliament sits to debate and finally vote on whether they make the bill pass or not. So the question, what should the citizens do at the individual level, at group, community, whether churches, politicians, political parties, lawyers, whoever they are, what should we be concentrating doing now? And maybe hypothetically answer the question, uh, what will it mean if the bill passes? And what will it mean if the bill doesn't go through? And is there still room for a referendum. So I don't know if you have got any thoughts along those discussion points. You have got a free. You can pick one, or you can try to give your opinion on any of those key questions. Because I think now my view is we need to be making people aware what it means, so that people will align themselves to say what will be their response if the outcome is this, and what will be our view if the outcome is this.
Yeah, so I can just generalize really. I mean, yeah, you said you have just mentioned quite a lot of views there. But to
Mm-hmm.
start with, Misha, I think it is quite important to highlight the fact that, when ZANU-PF was talking about, you know, all, how it all started, we,
Mm-hmm.
we heard them talking about extending
Mm-hmm.
President Mnangagwa's tenure up to 2030
Mm-hmm.
on those two occasions, that in Bulawayo and Mutare.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it came to talking about the actual thing they wanted to do when they were in parliament,
Mm-hmm.
that's when they then started saying that, telling us in detail what they were intending to do
Mm-hmm.
by taking away, our rights to vote as a race, one man, one vote, that wasn't, I think it wasn't elaborated when they pronounced the whatever they call it in Bulawayo, in Matebeleland, I mean in Mutare. They did not explain exactly what they intended to do at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
it was more of a hide and seek approach at that time, in my view. But all what it means to me is, I think if you want to look at ZANU-PF's tenure for the last 46 years, it is always about suppressing the majority, the voices. And that there's no lie to that. Remember very well that MDC was not allowed to campaign for a long period of time. I think there was a few instances where they were allowed to gather, but with fear. So, and what then happened when the bill was announced in Parliament? We have seen a widespread suppression of people talking against that bill. So even if you just want to look at that chronology, the indication is that what the bill intends to do is to continuously and completely suppress people's views. When you go to other places where, even for example, Iran, when people there were not even allowed to say, especially women, to say anything against, their rights, being mutilated, that's where we are heading. But even though you saw that in Iran now, people, they have been uprising for a long period of time now, but people were being killed for doing that. So another clear example is what happens in Russia. But you can't say anything against Putin. So that's what this bill is taking us. I think what social media networks and a lot of few people in Zimbabwe have been trying to do is to educate people about this bill, because I think we saw that a lot of people who spoke, I think, supporting the bill, most of them did not even, or were unable to explain what the bill means or what does it entail. Most of them, because they have been told that this is the bill that enables the president to continue doing his good work. But even if you ask them what good work, none of them were able to highlight even a single thing. Most of them mentioned probably roads, But we know that a lot of roads in Zimbabwe, that's why we've got quite a lot of accidents in Zimbabwe, because the infrastructure, road infrastructure is so poor. We cannot measure road development by one stretch of road, which by any standards, I mean international standards, Bulawayo Road is not even, it's just, so we have also seen widespread, I mean, ZANU-PF itself has taken the space, has been educating people or misinforming people about the bill. They have been able to campaign, form rallies, On the other hand, the opposition or those people who are against the bill have not been given any chance. Just imagine if you want to look at it from another different perspective. Yeah, even if people, social media abroad outside Zimbabwe, who are just trying to educate people, are being sought after by ZANU-PF. Just imagine that, and then take that. How are we going to survive in the event of this bill going through? How are things gonna be like? So you see where everything is going by just those few comparisons. Because if ZANU-PF is harassing somebody in South Africa, someone in the UK, somebody in Zambia, how about when the bill passes?
Mm.
You see, so I think we don't have to know the bill in depth for us to know that this is not a good thing. But the main thing they want there is to make sure that Mnangagwa stays in power and to make sure that this parallel line of government that he has adopted, I think he adopted it quite a long time ago, but we now see it right in front of our eyes now. He wants to rule Zimbabwe using a parallel government. So
Wow.
that's where the whole thing is heading, in my view. And I think, for the question what we can do now, I think the only options that we have at our disposal, I think mainly is social media, even though, as I said, social media is also being suppressed. If they are hunting people abroad outside Zimbabwe for just sharing their views, that space is being squeezed in it, because a lot of people, they're being scared that, if I come out against this bill, my family in Zimbabwe will be persecuted. That's the fear. That's what they're trying to do, that, instill this fear to those people abroad, tell them that we can come after you. Then they'll tell their relatives back home that we can't say anything against this bill. And that's what is happening. I saw this other video, I think it was in a stadium where people were singing about Whitney Vayo and Scott. I couldn't actually hear what they were talking, but I think they were praising those people. So those people are given that platform to do that. But if you just say anything against the bill, you're not going to survive in that environment. So again, that's where this bill is going to be taking us. And we need to continue, therefore, to do what we can do. I mean, using the options that we have, the social media option, just to educate people so that they know. And I think that a lot of people actually, Mr. Mirza, they know now that this bill is not a good thing, but we are being forced into it. I think they know it. And I think also members of parliament, deep inside, they know that this bill is going to save them for a very short period of time. Once the bill passes, Mnangagwa is going to start taking those people down he perceived as people against his rule, just like what he's allegedly doing to people who propped him to this power where he is now. It is alleging that he is, putting them away one by one, so that there is no dissent, So yeah, that's my general view over those questions that you asked, Mr. Anisha.
Thank you very much, Kagona. I think you actually took people on a political education process, and you started with where it started to say it was conceived in some sort of deception and secrecy, where when they had their resolution number one in Bulawayo, they said they wanted to extend the presidential term, and they never then put the nitty gritties of what exactly was in their thinking. That or within that, the the powers of the army will be reduced, and the uh, traditional leaders will be allowed to be political, and they will also the gender commission, they will do away with it, and a lot of those provisions they are putting in the bill were not explained when they put to the Congress in to their annual conference in Bulawayo, which brought the resolution number one, which is their party's desire to extend the term for their president, which then resolution number two in Tare, where they make a resolution to say we want to instruct government to put this into a legal instrument, and all those nitty gritties were not explained. I think a lot of those things then came out when they had now drafted the bill, and then people begin to say, even some people in ZANU-PF themselves, they said, "Oh, we were not part to this." Some of the provisions that are now coming in the bill, and as we have rightfully said, the space to actually either talk about this bill. We saw when Professor Madugu tried to gather his people to discuss these things, they were beaten up. Tendai BT tried to just gather in a house and try to talk about this bill. They were arrested and banned to talk again. We went to the consultative processes. There were all violence there. Only those who were speaking in favor were given elaborate time to talk about, and some were even allowed to read large pieces of their presentation without disruptions. And I think the people were even passed from one place to another. I think as Mr. Maduku expressed it in one of the platforms, he says, if you are doing a consultative process, you don't ask people to come to you. You go to where people are. You go to their churches. You go to their communities and go and solicit their views without any intimidating environment. But given just 4 days, packed places, where maybe in a packed place of thousands of people, only maybe a handful, about 18 or so, are allowed to speak. That's not a consultation. I don't know. And I think as you rightfully said, what we can do is to educate our people what this bill is all about. I think particularly the members of parliament, as I said, they are now the key players now in the final stages of this debate around this amendment bill number three. They are the ones that are going to debate it in parliament. Are they going to debate it on the position from an informed position? And where are they getting their facts when they debate? Are they going just to debate on the basis of the parliamentary draft report that that are going to be produced, or have they gone to their constituencies to seek views of their constituencies to say, in as far as my constituency is concerned, this is the position of my constituent to this bill? I don't know, because I have never heard of any members of parliament who had some processes of actually engaging their constituencies, and then when the bill passes, what does it mean? When the bill doesn't pass, as you have rightfully said, it is infringing, it is consolidating power within the executive, and most likely we will be ending up with dynasty. I think Temba Maposa there is saying members of parliament are already captured. So these are things that we need to be, we continue to be educating them to say, in as much they can be captured today, it's just to feed their stomach today, but we have got a generation that are going to be affected. Their children's children, they shall reflect on this moment of the question to say, members of parliament of I don't know what parliament number we have, sold on the wishes of the people when they put money ahead of their constitutional responsibility to interrogate all the bills that comes with, are they in favor of their people, and what are their constituencies saying. Are they going to vote with their stomach, or they are going to vote with their conscience? And whose views are they going to put when they go into the secret ballot? And also the other thing that we need to be checking ourselves is the process itself. Is it going to be by show of hands, or is it going to be by secret ballot? Because when it is show of hands, I think within the oppressive environment that we have had so far, no one wants to raise their hand against the bill, and you'll be known who has said no to this bill, whether it is a secret ballot, and so that the members of parliament will knows when once you get to the polling booth and you are on your own, you just have got to express what your constituency is saying, not what you think. Because when you are in that parliament, you are not there for yourself. You are not there because you are convinced about whatever, but you are there on behalf of a constituency, people who have put their trust in you to put you in that position.
So, Mr. Nisha, can I just, you mentioned something there about the MPs, because as I think, I'm not sure, maybe on different platform, this was also discussed. You know, if an MP, right, is being involved in this kind of, thing, like the magnitude of task on that particular MP's shoulder is massive. And I would envisage a situation whereby that particular MP will go to his constituency, not only once, not only twice, several times, talking to them person to person. We've seen this kind of stuff happening all over the world. Get their views, and you go to parliament and say, guys, this is what my people are telling me. But I can't remember seeing even a video on YouTube or anywhere of an MP campaigning with his people, getting views from his people. Like, if you live in Glenora, go to Chitubu, for instance, talk to them there, gather their views there, and take the views back to parliament. I did not see something like that happening. So I think it's just that, if anything, right, on the day that they are going to vote, people of Zimbabwe should be going or standing outside the parliament. I know it is far away now it's not like the one used to be in Harare was quite easy for everybody to get by, but this one is far away from the city now. But people should be going there with their placards, just standing outside, no to bill number 3. But again, we do not have that space anymore. We've seen it happening all over the world, but we can't do that in Zimbabwe. But what we are doing now is citizens. I've seen a lot of people just posting those placards. We are just posting those placards, not bill number 3, not bill number 3. And on that day when they are voting, we need on social media to record, I think, the highest number of placards with no bill number 3 on social media on that day when they're going to vote. Let's flood Facebook, let's flood Twitter, let's flood other platforms with no to bill number 3.
Mhm.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. When you were responding to the issue of MPs, in my wild imagination, I said, "Oh, Parliament had a process where they said, oh, they were going to people, and they did their state managed consultation." I think MPs should have had such processes within their constituents to say they can actually have representatives going out in wards, gather people, gather their views together, find a way of recording the outcome there. What are their views, without any taking sides,
Interference. Yeah.
without interference.
Yeah.
Let people just say what, even if someone who is supporting the bill come and says, "I support the bill because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5," record it, and so that you also come up with your own constituency report of what your constituents are saying in terms of the numbers of people who participated in your consultation. And I think a lot of people would have volunteered, and even sometimes having a dedicated platform for your constituents to come and discuss, like people do on Mbire, discussing there. We can have a constituency, a YouTube channel or Twitter
Yeah.
space where people on it, they come and discuss, and you just take minutes and record what the people are saying. I don't know whether we have got or the right crop of innovative MPs to, other than just thinking about
So,
when am I getting a car and 50,000 to myself, because I think there is a heavy burden on their shoulders, but they're not realizing.
yeah, but it would have been an easier approach for them to go to their people than to ask people to write to the parliament. I mean,
Yeah.
writing, how are we going to verify that those people, our letters have been read? But if you go there, see your people, we know that no, our MP came to us, we gave him our views. But no, they took the other, they opted for the other secretive approach. Write to us, write your views to us, you know. And then they're telling us to trust these people to vote for the president on our behalf.
Uh, I'm seeing a comment from Demba Maposa. They say genuine opposition MPs are not allowed to gather together with his or her people of their constituents. I think this is where we needed to borrow the tactics of our liberation. We are calling now heroes nowadays. I think they were operating under a very oppressive system, but they had a way of communicating and get views from the people. They had the underground system. That's why I was saying, if an MP is innovative, you create some structures of people who go there and either gather people, small gatherings, or social media platforms. Because obviously the gathering space in Zimbabwe is really limited. Um, I think we have been here for an hour. I've been here for an hour, Temba. I will reschedule this with the Mr. Nkomo at some point, and I will be bringing some different guests as well. You can come as a guest as well. Kagona, and you come and discuss. But I think we need, like you said, we need to flood the social media space with no to bill number 3 or no to 2030, and I think there's others which have been ED must go, hashtag, all those kind of things. Do you have any final thoughts that you wanted to say to the people of Zimbabwe around the issues that we were discussing before I bring this to a close? Bless praise. We have not said anything. Can you hear me? He joined quite a little while ago, but he has not said anything. I don't know whether he just joined in and went away. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so I mean, my last remarks, Mr. Misha, I think, social media, as far as I've been following them, we have we have been doing what we can do given our, given what is, open to us. We just need to continue, you know, sending the messages, and whenever we get a platform to demonstrate. It's just unfortunate that there are quite a lot of other places where people are allowed to demonstrate, because I think that has always been one of the strongest ways of sharing or sending your messages to the politicians. I mean, gatherings. Yes, social media is one of them, but traditionally and now it's always been to demonstrate. You show your numbers. That's how you show the politicians that we are not happy about this. But nevertheless, social media has played and you will continue to play a major role in the political terrain. And let's just continue doing what we are doing. And people of Zimbabwe should continue to use whatever space they have to send their messages, so that Mnangagwa and his cronies know that we do not subscribe to their lies about bill, their lies about what this bill is going to benefit us. We know it's just about them. So let's just continue to send that kind of message using social media and demonstrate whenever we get the chance to do so. Thank you.
yeah, thank you very much. I think Temba Maposa was adding to the fact that
You're on mute.
am I on mute? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. We cannot hear you.
No, no, no. Temba Maposa is just saying rural folks have a challenge with the internet. And he's also saying the social media doesn't reach the rural folk. I think it's only that we have taken we have left it too late, because some of the things that were being suggested on different.
We cannot hear you, Mr. Misha. We
You
can't
cannot
hear.
hear me. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Are you on mute?
No, I'm not on mute.
No.
Oh, why? Can you hear me now?
No.
Oh, but people on the platform, they are hearing it loud and clear.
Yeah, there's no sound coming out.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is people on watching us are saying you are loud and clear. Brahim, you didn't join us,
Yeah. So
Brahim.
I think I can't hear you from my end. I'm not sure if can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So it's just your sound is not coming throughout to us.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's something wrong with on your gadget on your end.
Okay, Mr. Misha, send us a notification for the next. Once you've reorganized it, send us a note so that we can.
Yeah. What I'm going to do? I know Mbire does.
I can see your lips moving. I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear anything.
All right. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. That's all right. Uh, Bra-
You know, it happened at the beginning of the show when you were just talking in there, but I could not hear you at all when you started.
Yeah. No. When you joined in, when I was talking, actually, I had muted myself because I was talking to someone on the phone.
Can you just type?
Okay. Let me type then. Okay, that's all right. Yeah. Right. Okay. I think we are coming to we are coming to an end. Let me just give a closing. And as I said, we are going to have this discussion soon after Ambire in the evening, and either I bring a guest and a guest discusses a topic, or I might just bring a topic and we discuss it. Especially, my view is education around the bill number 3 until it goes to voting, so that uh, we discuss and we come up with some practical things that we can actually advise people on the ground to do, or those who in the diaspora, what they can do. So let me just thank you for watching, either whether you were watching on Mbire TV or on Champion Network TV, or you were watching on NDWG Global TV. And I can't thank you enough for being with us, and people like Temba Maposa commenting. That was very useful. And Brian, you will be more than welcome coming on the platform as we discuss. So tonight's discussion is highlighted just how important Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 is to the future of Zimbabwe. We have had concern around the accountability, as Kagona was saying, and the role of Parliament, the importance of civic engagement, especially around the constitutional amendment, and also using the social media to make people aware, and whether Zimbabwe themselves should direct decide through a referendum. This is also still uh, it was an unfortunate that our guest, Mr. Nkomo, was not able to join us, but he sincerely put his apology, and that was his apology from Mr. Nkomo. My apologies, Mr. Mija, and your listeners. I am prepared that we may reschedule this important discussion. I have a network challenge today, so he had a network challenge today. We will see whether we can reschedule with him either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. But tomorrow we will have another topic that we will discuss. It's for me, it's all around educating people around the amendment bill number 3, until we get to the final day, final voting day for the parliamentarians. Uh, so, to our viewers in the Zimbabwe throughout the diaspora, thank you for being a part of this conversation, particularly Kagona, who managed to join me in the studio. And also, I think Blaise was not able to talk. I don't know whether he was just listening. Uh, so we will be rescheduling again, either for today, or for tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow. As always, continue to share this broadcast. Subscribe to Champion Network TV, to NWG Global TV and Mbire TV, so that you don't miss when we come live. Remember, the Constitution belongs to the people. and the Zimbabwe belongs to the citizen, and the future of the nation depends on the informed participants today, not tomorrow, as Duma Boko said. He says tomorrow is too late, yesterday is history. So what is important is what we talk about today, and what do we do today. And I'll just read what Kagona says. So yeah,
It's okay. I can hear you now.
you can hear me now, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I think there's something was I don't know what was happening with on the connection, on the sound on your
Yeah,
end,
I had to refresh my.
your browser.
Yeah.
All right, okay, that's fine. So we just come to our end. So from me, Mija, and the entire production team and the Kagona in the studio, we say good night and God bless, and let us continue building Zimbabwe together peacefully and democratic. As I always say, stay informed, stay engaged. Your voice is important. So good night.
Thank you, Mr. Misha.
Thank you for watching Champions Network TV. Make sure you click that like button and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get the ding 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 every time we do post our videos.